to another segment of Conversate and Elevate. I love these segments. I have, oh my gosh, some hand-picked individuals in my circle that I'm bringing forth to you all to elevate you in some form, shape, or fashion. So I specifically picked these individuals, and it's going to be every 2 weeks. So about 25 individuals that I think could bring you variety and diversity in your learning and your up level. So today, I have Saheed Adeleye, and we are going to get into it. Now, mind you, for you all listening, these conversations that we have or the way we converse is not new. Like, I talk to all these individuals that I bring forth, and we just go in and we go deep. And I was highly encouraged to bring those authentic and genuine conversations to the forefront to hopefully shed some light on darkness, things that people need to hear and hear it in the most honest and most pure way possible. So we're going to get into it. I mean, Saheed, he's known as being a business consultant, a business development rep, manager of creators, so much. But to me, from my experience, and I've known Saheed since 2018, I believe. We met in July of 2018 when he was repping this particular artist and he knew to pull the attorney. And I'm going to get into all that because that's really important. And this is why I think we really mesh, because a lot of individuals who out there in these capacities, you really have to do your homework to even see if there's trust and loyalty. But I'm going to get into why this person right here definitely made it inside my circle. But I see Saheed as a cultural curator, a leader, a visionary. Listen, when I talk about have that foresight, this individual has that. I also see him as a teacher and a student. And that is what's huge to me. Those who are leaders and who are teaching, but know when to actually be the student, they're rare and exceptional. So that's who we have today. And I believe you will get full from our conversation. So how are you doing, Saheed? What's up?
Hey, Ella. I mean, you got me startled for a minute just listening, to everything you just said. I mean, I'm truly humbled by that introduction and just referencing how we really met. But I'm doing pretty good today. How about yourself? The weather's great. I mean, just comfortably at home right now, just waiting earnestly for this moment, because with you, it's always about being real. And that's one of the things I admire so much about, your energy, your passion, your professionalism. I mean, that you're a good role model to our generation. I really applaud you for all that you're doing, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm well as well. One thing I've learned over these last couple of years, I know we say it all the time, and sometimes we say things so much that it becomes cliche. It becomes just a religion of saying things without us attaching the emotion and the true, genuine meaning of what we say. But now I'm saying I'm doing well because I'm breathing. I, over this last couple of years, but here recently over these last couple of months, have seen my family dynamic change because people are just exiting, transitioning from this side. So listen, I learned to just the first thing I'm thankful for before anything throughout the day is breath, because that is the beginning of everything. So I'm good. I'm good. Right. And then I'm sitting here with you. Hey. Listen, and we're about to go ahead and speak to others who are also breathing. So I'm extra good. All right. So as I mentioned, so we met back in 2018.
That's correct.
And we talked a few times before we actually met in person, which at that time, because we talked a few times, but then when we met in person, we did more like it was like a meet and exercise thing. So we went in, we like met at the park and was like, hey, listen, we run, talk, and all that good stuff. But what I liked about who Saheed was in 2018 and even more now, and have expanded, is you came to me when you was repping a artist, and when you came to me, it was about giving that person that you was repping and working with full opportunity. It wasn't nothing about, this is just about me, my company, how am I just fully protected? How can I just gain and get everything? when you met me, it was about, I have this person that I completely believe in. And not only do I want to converse with you, Ella, on a legal aspect, but anything that's dealing with business, anything you can put your eye on to elevate this whole situation, I'm game and I'm open. Like,
Right.
so for you that works with individuals like that, because that is rare, right? It really is. You find
Yeah.
very few of those in these industries. What made you, so go back a little bit and think about the Saheed
Mhm.
before you got into this. What experiences, because we're all a product of our experiences, what experiences
Right.
in your life made you have that type of selflessness?
Well, I mean, to start with, I got to give it, to my parent. All right. I mean, for whatever it was, they definitely did the very best they could to try to instill good values, morals, in me and my siblings for sure. But then more importantly was also, the ability to just allow the kids to self-discover themselves. So, I mean, for me, I believe strongly that that's obviously played out a great deal. I mean, within my family, I'm completely different from everybody else. Sometimes, I'm even seen as a rebel of the family because when everybody's going left, I say no. I feel like I'm convinced to go right, and that's it. They definitely know that when I say it, that's it. There's really no turning back, and there's no being, disrespectful, trying to be, against the family values or what have you. They definitely understand it's really all about just being, myself. And just to, to moving out of the family, when I also did graduated out of college, shortly before leaving college, one of the things that just crossed my mind was me saying to myself that, hey, I don't think, the blue chip or, white collar job part is for me. I have a very open, destructive mind of just always being more involved in improving on things. So, and I feel like, within the corporate entity, might be a little bit restricted, So, I mean, just right out of college, I had a privileged opportunity, to work with a significantly successful conglomerate, it was a foreign one, out of, from Israel. It was an Israeli-owned, conglomerate. And my reporting manager, likewise, did what I never anticipated, from just someone right out of college, little or no experience, just gave me the leadership, position, as it were, just based off an interaction that, we had from a project that we ran a marketing promotion project, for the company. And that's where, he spotted me out. And I really didn't know was looking out, to see if I could easily come in and be a part of the company itself. And fast forward, I had a privileged opportunity without any background training, as it were, just thrown into, right in the mix of managing close to about 18 to 20, workforce that was actually under his marketing and promotions department, and of course, when I did sat with him at some point, like, hey, why did you do what you did? And he says, you know what, I saw exactly how you managed the third party contractor we got to handle the promotion of our, expansion plans and what have you. And you did an excellent job. And I think your leadership skill and your intentions, just see things be progressive and people be progressive is very natural. And I feel you did, a good feat for it. And bam. So why do I say that? I mean, that really formed the fundamental of who I am as a person. Beyond just myself, I really respect the fact that we're all humans to start with. And it's really a privilege for us all to be breathing, just like you rightly said earlier. I mean, when you go through life and you figure out, what it takes to just to even drink a cup of water without difficulty, then you get to appreciate that, what, just for you to wake up every day is really a privilege to be alive. And you want to actually respect when you see other people leaving. It's an opportunity for them to be a lot better and do better. And, just for me, that forms the fundamental of everything that I do.
I love it. And kudos to your parents. And that could be anybody, that could be guardians, the people that you surround yourself around. So, the one thing that is huge about what you said is having that, the role models, having those individuals in your life to guide, direct you, and allow you to be who you are here to be. So that's in any capacity. So taking it outside the family, whether you're in these industries, putting yourself around the support group of individuals that is going to guide you, assist you, be with you not friction and work against you of who you are and who you are supposed to be. One of the things you just mentioned was the self-discovery. That is
Yeah.
huge, allowing someone, like you said, self-discovery. I even had to learn that as a parent. A lot of times we, from our experiences, right, and it comes from such a good intention, try to achieve things, put our kids in a position that we think they should be in, shield them from things. But
Right.
what will happen is we can block that self discovery because each of us are uniquely made here to do something. If
Right.
individuals are telling you how to do what you need to do, then the uniqueness is being suppressed from our existence. And that's in anything, right? So that's from our kids. That's if you're an artist and you're, with whoever labels, and you're changing who you feel you are authentically, if you're an actor, if you're an athlete. So like you said, growing up, you were allowed self-discovery. And that is a quality that you
Right.
allow in these people that you work with. I feel
Right.
like everybody that you've been working with. So we talked about the first artist, but we've since then talked about, discussed, and worked on so many other projects. And now it makes sense. You
Yeah.
experience self-discovery and you allow it. So let's go back to these values, because you posted something one time. We talked about values. And you
Yeah.
said for you, the values that, pretty much shape you are trust,
Yeah.
loyalty,
Right.
mutual respect. You said
Yes.
bluntness, candor, means the same thing, that candor, trust in God,
Yeah.
fear none,
Yeah.
which if you
Yeah.
break that up, fear no one, fear
Yeah.
none, and
Yeah.
build others. You included that in there. Like, it's and
Yeah. Yeah.
build others. Talk to me a little bit more about these values. Like you said, you had them growing up. So
Yeah.
trust and loyalty. Okay. Tell me
Yeah.
about these.
Yeah, and I probably would get back into that space where I get to start posting, that again, because that particular period of my life, I was really just all about sharing my daily reality with people, but more from a perspective of what I do to overcome, my trying moments. You understand? Because there was a lot going on during that period of time. It was a question of, do I give in, or do I basically really, dig deep into the core of who I really am,
Yeah.
and use that strength, to overcome and really push through. And, I just found out that, what, life is always all about the up and the downs.
Yeah.
But the thing that keeps you going is the true values of what represents you. And, when I dig deep, I just said, you know what? Yeah, that's one of the few things that makes me different from a lot of people. I mean, I'm always an open book, I really don't believe in holding things back, say it as
Yeah.
it is, out of respect, of course, and, out of empathy to, how people might take it. But you can't work with people if you don't trust them.
Yeah.
You understand? Trust is, for me, trust is equally as important as you breathe. Because if you cannot trust me, then there's really nothing there for us to actually engage in, be it just a mutual, relationship, business wise, or even if it's just friendship, to say, hey, you're one of my contacts, within my contact base, and when the need arises, I might actually, have to refer you something. Oh, pardon me. Oh, sorry about that. I
No
had
problem.
come in. Yeah, you know what? I thought I actually disconnected the call log, but I didn't. I'm gonna just go ahead and cut that off. Sorry about
Absolutely.
that.
Well, you listen, you're a high
Yeah,
demand man. I
yeah,
told you,
yeah,
look.
yeah, yeah. Right. Okay. So, but yeah,
There you
let's
go.
let's let's hope that fix it. Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, with that, for me, it was really just about, having to keep an openness to whatever it is that you're doing. First, of course, true to yourself, and then true to people. And there's no way that you can actually really want to offer people your best if you can't trust them. And if they don't trust you, you can actually also get the best out of them. So
Right.
for me, that's from the basis of my everything, whatever it is I'm trying to do.
And let's keep it real. So we're about to go real. Now, those are the
Yeah.
values that you bring to the table. But from your experience, and we're in these industries, are those values reciprocated? Because Let's get real. A lot of
Yeah.
individuals, and for my viewers and my listeners listening, we're like he just said, one of his values is that bluntness, that candor. It's the same thing with me too. It's not about what you want to hear, is what you need to know,
Right.
in order to grow. And so one of the things that you will hear and or see if it's social media all the time is I got burnt, or treat me this way, or that contract sucked, or all these different things from one side. And as a individual who empowers people and use legal protection as one of the avenues, I definitely protect those on that side, but you also have to educate them. And
Yeah.
with that said, Saheed, like you brought this to the table. Now, when you're dealing with these creatives, artists, and all those other people on the other side, are those values always reciprocated to you? The trust, the
Well,
loyalty.
yeah, blunt response is no. Okay. Yeah, it's a no. But to be honest with you, um, I kind of feel that's not just peculiar to our industry. Okay, in general, it's one of the most challenging characters, that individuals face across all sectors. But what makes it more challenging within our industry is the fact that we've got a lot more to do with showcasing whatever it is that we're doing, or whatever process of our networks are to the world, and it's so much quicker and faster compared to other industries. So people can really tell when, your network or your talent or your creative, isn't actually as loyal, dedicated to what it is that you actually get to present, because people see you, and then when they get to see the creative and expect certain deliverables off of them, they're not seeing the same mirrored character.
Absolutely.
You understand? So yeah, but the response is a no. I mean, yeah, you don't get it.
And that's why it was important to bring it up. You're right that there's some things that come along with these industries, but when you have the individuals who are doing the complaining, the sulking, the this, the that, what they have to do is put a mirror in front of themselves and say, okay, I'm out here saying everyone's dogging me. I'm put in a bad situation. I'm getting taken advantage of, all these things that you're saying, but are you bringing the values to the table
Right.
when you meet individuals that are in this industry that have these type of values? So we got to make sure we have that mirror up. And for me doing this for years, and like I said, protecting individuals, I've also seen those who ask to be protected
Right.
are the very ones who do the things that they don't want done to them. And so
Correct.
we have to be very honest about this. If you're on a
Yeah.
side that you're talking about, woe is me, and you don't want things done, you really
Mm-hmm.
have to assess yourself to see if you're someone doing that. Now, you brought up a good point too. You said network. This is the second time. I want to go back. I'm going to tie it in because, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
when you graduated college,
Yes.
you got this great opportunity. But that
Right.
opportunity wasn't just because of a degree in college. It was
Now,
because you had an interaction.
yes.
You had an interaction where someone was able to see your value, your worth, right?
Right.
So when we talk about network, it's more than about who you know, it's who knows you. So even if
Correct.
we're talking about going to college and doing all these different things, it's about taking advantage of those platforms that you're dealing with. And college is not just about put your head down, get a 3.9.
Mm-hmm.
Education is extremely important because you want to grab it. But
Right.
while you're in
Right.
college, don't keep your head down so much that you do not connect with people and be
Right.
able to showcase your
Right.
tangibles of what you can do. So it's the same thing in real life.
Mm-hmm.
While we out here and we have talents and gifts and we're saying we got this and that, if no one knows it exists, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And then just because you know someone else exists, it's not just about blowing them up. It's about having a network so they know you exist. So talk about this because you said the interactions. It's about the network. What is your experience from that? With being able to go forward or being stopped when we talk
Mhm.
about something like that?
Yeah. So just to and this is just personal opinion of mine. Now, it's not really about taking advantage, because sometimes that could also be misunderstood or misinterpreted when you use the word take advantage
Advantage.
of.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But rather for me, it's really just leveraging your network.
I like it.
You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
So yeah, I mean, network is everything. doesn't matter at what point in life that you attain. I mean, you might be starting out, you might be the the mid level of your success story, or you might even be at the presumed peak of your success story. At the end of the day, it's still all about your network that actually determines how far you're going to go, because no man actually is an island, right? But really, for me, networking basically starts from the very minute you're clear on what it is that you're trying to do. Okay, if you basically just want to hang in there just on the premise of, hey, I just want to have people I can reach out to for information, that defines the kind of network that you actually put in that portfolio. If you're talking about, hey, you know what, I'm an entrepreneur, or I want to be an entrepreneurial goal, I want to be within the sector. For example, we in the entertainment sector, I'm also involved in the public sector. That defines the kind of networks that I actually reach out to. Now, in the course of reaching out to those networks, you actually also come to understand that there are some who are basically just going to be there to serve as networks to source networks. You understand? And you have those who are actually networks that would really assist in executing things that you're trying to do. For example, your typical example, one of my networks, where what a lot of your listeners now might not know is you are my legal rep, but at the same time, over the last couple of years that we've known each other, I've actually come to also now put you in the network of my advisory council, outside of just the legal representation. So if I actually have certain ideas or certain decisions I'm trying to make outside of legal decision, because I see your depth of exposure, your depth of understanding, and your critical evaluation of things outside of just legal engagement, I consider, I got to talk to Ella.
Right.
You understand? So as you continue to explore your network from the definition of exactly what it is that you're trying to do, I feel you begin to define more, and then actually categorize all of these networks for you to be able to see exactly how best to maximize. But you can't overrule how important it is that those network either connects you to the resource that you need to actually solve certain problems that you're trying to address, or that those new set of networks comes to actually create opportunities for you to actually explore within the industry that you're not even informed about does exist within your industry.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
like that you pinpointed the word leverage, because you're right. And I
Mm-hmm.
always say this, especially as someone who have to, their work is based on words. Words are everything. And
Right.
you're right. Someone can hear take advantage of and take that as, oh, take advantage. But
Right.
leverage
Yeah.
keeps that respect in
Yeah.
there. Leverage keep all those values that we were actually talking about in there. Leverage
Correct.
also enforces accountability. To leverage
Yeah.
something, you have to understand what you even have. So to
Right.
understand the word leverage, you're balancing something there. You like,
Right.
so absolutely,
Right.
I'm happy you point that out. We're going to get to the diaspora conversation, and I'm going to build up to that because this is really important. We had this conversation. We're not going to give too much away in this conversation because you're a visionary. You have this huge
Yeah.
vision on something, but we're going to drill it down and talk about some of the things that, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some of the things that we
Right.
even got to realize that possibly we don't know we're contributing to, or
Yeah.
possibly we do. Like when we talk, some people do know what they're doing, keep it down.
Right.
But before we get there, if you see me looking down to my viewers,
Mhm.
I am writing
Mhm.
down keywords that Saheed is saying. Anytime we have someone that comes on and speak, I write down these keywords that they drop. These are nuggets. And I advise you too, if you're not listening on just a major streaming platform, but you're sitting down watching, don't just watch this. Get a notebook and take down some notes. Like take down notes to move forward. So when you look at these talents and you deal with talents, you deal with businesses, you deal with all of that. What are some things for them to, discover opportunities? You said one thing before.
Mhm.
I'm gonna see if I could pull it up.
Mhm.
Managers, because you I guess you shared a quote from someone else, but you put it up. Managers/executives are not magicians or genies. Having somebody step in isn't going to do a damn thing if the artist slash creative isn't ready and willing to put 100%, everybody has to have the same drive, same vision for the relationship to truly succeed. So this might just been you saying it, might have put up, but when you say that,
Yeah.
that is huge, right?
Yeah.
So what is it that individuals need to do when they're looking to discover opportunities when you're someone as a business development rep and all that? What would you say that focus should be?
Right. So let me put a scenario, to define that. So the end goal, it rains. We see the rainbow up in the sky. What happens? Everybody's excited. Everybody says, "Whoa, the rainbow looks good up there, multiple colors, right?" But then, do we also take time to actually break down, to take a deeper look into the rainbow to say, "Hey, what color is that one? What color is that one? What's the distance between, the first threshold of the first color into the next one, the positioning and everything?" Why am I saying that? At the end of the day, everybody wants success. Everybody wants whatever it is they're doing to actually be outstanding, to be acceptable by the audience or the listeners. You understand? And to do that, everyone has got a role to play. If you don't play your role, it affects my role. So if I'm not skilled in a particular part of, the process, it's either I look for somebody else who can do it. And my expectation looking for someone else who can do it is that that person is going to do it equally as good as I would do whatever role that I'm meant to play in the equation. So it's extremely important that whatever network or whatever your team members are, you cannot just rely on the premise of, because I know you're going to take care of it for me. No. What are you good at? Now you take care of what you got to take care of, and I'll take care of what I have to take care of. So let's go a bit deeper into it. A creative. Let's focus on the music talent. When you're actually looking out for music talent, I get to say that there are three key things that really defines for me as success of a talent. You got to be good in your content writing. So meaning you might not necessarily have much skill for maybe the vocal, but then if you're pretty good at your content writing, for me that's already a check. Now, assuming you're not too good at content writing, then I go, you got to be good with your vocals. So I know, okay, you're not too good at content writing. Maybe we can easily handle that. Then the last part of it, I'm like, you've got to be pretty good with your performance skill, your stage presence, and what have you. But then those are the three key, criteria or characteristics that I personally look out for when I'm actually, trying to source talents that I want to work with, right? But then it's also broken down in such a way that I get to even excuse and say, you might not have all three, but my personal criteria is you got to have a minimum of two. So if you don't have a minimum of two of those three things I just listed, that's a no. That's a no, right? Because if you have at least two, it is much easier for me to be able to bring the third person into the equation. Because remember as well, sometimes it's pretty difficult trying to manage people. Just because you're dealing with characters, you're dealing with backgrounds, you're dealing with a whole lot of situations. Some that you actually know before you even start the transaction, some you get to find out even after the transaction, and you can turn them back because you already started out. So you want to also minimize that risk. So again, the criteria is all subjective based on the talents of the type of creative that I'm trying to work with.
Well, a point you just made in there, 2 points actually. For those listening, if you even sum it up, is one, whoever you decide to hire and bring on, it's a collaboration.
Yes.
It's not you bringing someone and you completely step back and step away. And secondly, your business.
Right.
You're bringing someone into your business. And just like when you go out here and you shop to buy products or to get services and you step into these businesses, you expect there's an expectation there because these are businesses. That's the same expectation you should have for yourself because you're a business. So when you bring these individuals, your staff is what it is. So that means even if it's legal, whoever, you don't bring someone in and just say, I am completely detached fix it, make it all work. I just have
Mhm.
talent. That's not how it
Right.
works
Right.
because,
Mhm.
and so he could tell you this too. Luck, I mean, it is a great thing. You have someone who's a business development rep like that who looks for these qualities before they even think about taking you on, because there's those who look for you not to have the
Right.
qualities so they
Yeah.
could take you on. Because why? Because you're easy. It's easy
Right.
money. And when you
Right.
sit and we hear these complaints, I got taken advantage of, or this, or bad contract. No, you were sniffed out. This is,
Right.
we're going to keep it real.
Yep.
Entertainment and sports, it is a beast game. It does what it's a machine built to
Right.
do what it's supposed to do. So if you
Yeah.
know how to study that machine, then you can operate it for you
Right.
not to be, caught in it and spit out. So what you just said is, I look for these things before I take you.
Right.
Everybody don't do that. Do you
Yeah.
agree? They look
Right.
for it. They look for it not to be there. To
Right.
take you.
Right. Absolutely. LA. And just to add to that, so it goes both ways, right? The same way I get my expectations, my my criteria is a checklist. The talents also, or the creatives as well, has got to basically have ears. You understand?
Yes.
But remember, just to have to the key points you just referenced, I also make known to you the flexibility that does exist in my checklist, which is it would be great if I find
All
those
three,
three
but
companies,
right.
right? But a minimum of two is still good to
Exactly.
go. So even with the creatives, you've got to also have your checklist, and there's got to be some level of flexibility in it, because you might meet say a business development executive now, or maybe even a manager, or even a lawyer. They might still be on their journey, but you read and you see certain qualities out of them
Yes.
that you wouldn't easily find even in already established successful professional. It
Absolutely.
might be best for you to hold on to them and work the journey with them, because at the end of the day, it's going to pay you off down the line, as against that quick win that you just want to hang in with just because it seems to be the rave of the moment. But then you get into the circle and they really see that you really know what the value of your time, and they just toss you out without even telling you.
Yeah.
Then
Or
you're
they
back
get
to zero.
what they came in for. They whatever they want, they're out. And just because they leave
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they're not stop tied to you. So there's so many times I have to fight to undo contracts where
Mm.
people entered into these business engagements with individuals,
Yeah.
weren't treated well, didn't do
Right.
much for them, but
Yeah.
they tied themselves to whatever type of work they're doing, any type of content they're doing, any type of branding that they develop. They tie
Yeah.
themselves to it. But if you were that individual who also did homework, who also have criteria, it's
Right.
not just for
Mhm.
somebody looking for you, but would you, first of all, you should be the first one
Right.
who have the criteria. Because
Yes.
again, we have to get in the mindset that I have this talent and gift, which is a service that can
Right.
also produce products. So I am a CEO. I
Yeah.
am a business. And if you
Right.
plan on building this empire, or at least leave whatever you have deposited in you to be a benefit for generations behind you, you have to handle it as a business. You can't handle it as, I'm just going to go perform. So with that said, that makes me think of another question to ask you here.
Mhm.
What, from your experience, what do you think that creatives can do better? And what do you think that they are doing good?
Well, so I would say, based on the current crop of creatives that does exist,
Okay.
something that they could do better is learn to be patient. Learn to be patient. Build yourself. When I say build yourself, I'm not just referring to your ability to be able to write or sing. Character is everything at the end of the day, because you might be able to drop, say for example, now it's easier to actually get a quick recognition. You drop a single and bam, you could
Yeah.
actually just become the star, the global star, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But not in all cases does that translate to the duration of the longevity of your success.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you get a quick recognition, but then when it comes to perhaps brand participation and partnerships, There's really no brand out there that sees you complementing their image and integrity or the quality of what they represent, a character or a trait that they have built for over perhaps 10, 15, 20 years. Now, where does that put you? Right?
Right.
So for me, I'm just going to sum it all in that patience, patience, patience to develop the core of what's going to help you down the line to become the great talents or the great creative that you are destined for. Because mind you, Ella, all of this creative hours that we celebrate and we see every single day, I do not take it that one person is way above the other. Why? I basically say to them all, they are a gift to our world, and it's only a privilege for us to explore the opportunity to listen in or tap into their gift, because not every one of us can do what they are doing. So again, to you all creatives out there, I celebrate you all. I recognize the gift that you've been blessed with. We can't wait to explore it, but you also have to do us the favor of taking time to groom yourself, crop yourself, you understand, for you to actually nourish, and then we can appreciate the beauty of what it is that you have to offer the world. But if there is anything that they are doing now that I really would also say I do appreciate, is a lot of them are more conscious now to actually engage their audience. A lot of them are more conscious now to at least pay attention to the direction and the interest of the audience. Now, does that mean before it wasn't done? It was done, but the depth of consciousness for it, I really didn't see it like before. You understand? So now there's a lot more intentional interest to really do things, to also not just suit the, your fans on the grounds of the, whatever the music you're putting out or whatever the content you're putting out is, but in terms of actually even being more concerned about what's going on with our audience. How are they leaving? How is their wellness? I mean, we've seen what has become of the current issue of mental health right now. So a lot of our creatives are now becoming advocates of wellness, of all round things that makes you a human, beyond you just enjoying their creative content or their creative works. There's now more intentional interest to see that you are good as a talent, that you're good as a listener, you're good as a fan, you're good as a citizen of the world, because we all have a place here to fulfill. And if you're not well, you won't be able to enjoy the gift of what they got to offer. You see, so that I'm super, super excited about right now. And maybe I can have one more if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, creators are a lot more vocal right now to speak with brands or promoters or maybe even investors. Gone are the days where it's almost as though it's got to be one way. It's got to be my way or no way. You're getting a lot more room where the negotiation table is more favorable to at least try to come to a compromise that sees a win-win situation. But I'm gonna put a caveat on that. That's only if you are able to have the right representation or the right team member with you at such conversations.
Got it. So from what you said, there's a lot of points I'm like, yep, I'm right there. And there's
Right.
some I am on the fence. And you know how our conversations go.
Right,
Listen.
right. Hey, this why I'm
So
comfortable with you.
that's that. So like I so agree. Right. That patience that's numero uno. That's in everything. That's patience should be a virtue you practice that
Right.
seeps out into anything that you absolutely do. Patience has to be that. It's just like when you look around and you see these roses and you see beautiful flowers, or you even see vegetables, they
Mm-hmm.
had to grow out of a
Right.
seed and to get that.
Right.
It already, each of those things were already going to be what it was set to be, but it
Right.
wasn't that in the beginning. You didn't see it. It didn't have that form like that in the beginning, but there was
Right.
patience to
Yeah.
come out to what was already set. And imagine
Right.
if we crush seed, stop it, it would never become what it was set to become.
Right.
So we already set, we have amazingness. We have to be patient into
Yes.
reaching that. But where I said, so I agree with you on that. So where I'm on a fence is The thing with, I look at it as a benefit and a burden, a blessing and a curse with social media is it makes people, it skews perception. It makes you think you don't have to be patient, right? So you see these different things pop up. Some people may pop off, but that goes to the point you just made, longevity. So I want people to look at, just because certain things do pop off, and I'm telling you this as someone behind the scenes who, when you think that you see people that got it all, they don't, because they gave it all up. So my thing is, when you just looking from the outside looking in, you think, I just need that pop off. I just need that one viral video. I just need this, and that's it. There's not longevity. If you just do your homework and look at the long list of legends that have came out to say what they don't have, what they don't, that should tell you. And you're no different. You're no different. So you have to work on that thing with patience. But where I feel is, I do believe artists are taking advantage of knowing their audience and all that great stuff. But I do think artists previously did it more. Okay, we're doing it differently. We're seeing it differently because we have these platforms. The reason why I say they did it more is because we didn't have these platforms. They had to really put their ear to the ground to know their fans and know what they want. When you had the Michael Jacksons, that's why I hate when people even compare Michael to Beyonce. You had someone who built what he built during a time we don't have what we have, who also sold out major stadiums like that without having what we have. In order to do that, you have to be in tune, and it has to be, oh my gosh, some serious work behind the scenes to not have these platforms. So I think that the artists then were even more, because they had to, acknowledging their audience, giving them authentic, not things that's just quick popcorn stuff that can go, but things that stand the test of time. We're listening to songs now that, people sampling more off older songs than they do any recent song. So that's why I think, we still have room to grow as artists. Is don't get caught up in being quick, and you're not really in tune with the fans. You allow fans to have you go like this. You allow fans to have you like a carnival instead of a staple of, I'm building it. So that's only where I say.
Well, I know this is one of those, conversations I always admire when we get into it. You understand? Because we both get to learn and see things from different perspectives, which I do understand the angle you're coming from, which I will align my thoughts with you on that. However, when you also consider back in the days, the access to this talents were not as swift and spontaneous as it is now. So it's okay for you to see perhaps your favorite talent just via the music video that's just played on the local TV station, as against you being able to follow them in real time to see what's going on with them. And when you consider that, when you see them once in a while, by default, you're excited so much that you really don't care about everything else but just that moments that you have access to them, compared to now, where every single day, whether it's you as a talent putting your picture up yourself, or it's just some fan that saw you randomly and without your consent just took a picture and is putting it out there. So I kind of feel like you're easily more judged now compared to back then. And for that reason, when you see talents who really engage there and are more conscious about their fans right now, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
And like you said, mental health, though, I wonder if that was a good transition that we did that. To me, I wonder if it was more healthier to not be as accessible. I understand people say, make yourself accessible, but guess who's dying because of that? Guess who's losing it because of that? It's the creative. Guess who are the bullies? The fans. The fans dictate, oh, I feel good today and I feel good about what you're doing, so I'm going to cheer you on. Oh, today I'm going to pull that rug.
With this, you just said the fans are bullies.
Listen, it is facts. Everything I speak, go fact check it. Just go pull up any social media and see the temperature changes. It's lukewarm. You will have someone cheering you on. The same people that cheer you on be the ones who pull that rug under your feet because you're more accessible. You're more accessible. They get comfortable. There's a comfortable level there. And then also they don't know how to differentiate the gift you're bringing them versus the human being that you're trying to navigate.
That's it right there. That's it right there. Yes.
And so that's why I'm like, is that even a good, find that leverage to, learn. If the wheel's not broken, go back to see what was done. But we do have to evolve. I get it. But where can you mix it together? That's where you become that amazing scientist, that alchemist. How can you mix things together? Because it's not about just negating that and going here, because we clearly see. I can't imagine if we did have these platforms with Michael. I wonder if he would have downward spiraled even quicker. Imagine if they had easier, quicker access to him to attack him the limited way that they attack. It would have went crazy. And we're doing that now. And there's people who are checking out, or you hear creatives tell you all the time, I did consider taking my life. All because of what? Because of someone who was a fan turned to a foe. Like, so the access, we gotta.
I'm gonna leave it at that. But you're spot on. You're spot on. So fans, you'll take it a little easy on them creatives now. I mean, they'll keep bringing you the best. We're not saying you shouldn't actually give constructive criticism and feedback, but you want to also understand that they are humans just like you are.
Just like you. They don't become exempt. All right, let's get into what we talked about. All right. This vision, man, we haven't even tapped into the potential we have as creatives when we're thinking about, I mean, because one thing as a Black American, and that's why I consider myself, we had this conversation before, you can call us, everybody can say African American, whatever, Black American who is of African descent, literally, because I did my DNA search. So I'm Bamalik. Yeah. So anyways, there's so much that can be done. And I do believe there's individuals that know it can and don't want people to tap in that know it can. So let's just have this diaspora conversation about, Africans and whoever, African Americans, Black Americans, Caribbeans, Afro-Latinos, and you're from Nigeria. We kind of skipped over that a little bit here. Like, this is huge. This is one of my clients and individuals that's in my circle, like you said, just in my circle. Like, we have certain titles just so people understand things, but I strip titles down. There's nothing stuck to identity. These are individuals that are allowed in my circle. That's why I don't just provide a single service. Like, we go in because you're an individual that's in my circle. So this is just one individual here that brings this international, diverse mindset, vision to it. But what does that all look like to you? Like, give me some good, bad, and ugly, like where we falling short, where we can do better. Like, give us educate us on that topic.
I mean, I really do appreciate you bringing this up, Ella, because again, you talked about, me being a visionary mind. Yes, I do consider myself one, and it's not something that I just started out today. Everything that I've done, everything that I'm still doing, and everything I'm still hoping to do is all tied to this vision. I mean, when I found myself, the privileged opportunity to be an American, because I am also an American. One of the things that really caught my attention is there was a reason why my life journey started out being, born in Nigeria. And it's for a moment as this. When you look at everything that is going on in the world, first, of course, I respect all humans, like I said, but then I've also come to a place where I'm beginning to recognize the importance of identification with race, not necessarily to downplay, how important all the race are, but then also with pride to see how important it is for me to do all I can for my race. And with that basically comes the understanding that there is obviously a huge divide between the understanding of individuals like myself that I call migrant Africans, free will migrant Africans. I am also an African American.
Yes, I was about to say that. I wait for you to finish. I'm saying, aren't you the true definition of African American?
You know what I'm
There we
saying?
go.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the only difference is I consider some verse as, free will migrant Africans, because down the line, I'm sure if I also, get to check through my history or lineage, I can tell you for a fact that, one of my four great, 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 great grandparents or something, was also a slave on the soil here in this country. Right. But it's just the difference is we had the opportunity of growing on the soil in the continent. So therefore, me coming now without, that challenge background of what my brothers and sisters who actually grew up on the soil here in the United States and perhaps also in other parts of the world, because, also in Europe and some part of Asia, it also follows through. That doesn't make us different. The experience is what is different. And we should be open to receive what is, for me to share what my experience is, and also have me listening to you with an open mind, not judgmental, not being critic to your experience, but being open-minded to learn and hear and see what I could embrace, and that's actually could be a part of me from what you've gone through. So right now, of course, my ongoing vision and drive is to be the bridge between migrant African creatives based on the continent, and of course, creatives here in America and the world at large, for us to be able to, engage business opportunities together. Because remember, like you rather said in the first place, your gift as a creative is your business. So you are basically also the chief executive officer of your craft. How you basically bring all of that to play is now why you need your team, your accountants, your lawyer, your business development network, your marketing network. You understand the whole 9 yards begins to come together. So for me, the goal right now is technology has made accessibility a lot better. But at the same time, it has not solved what the key fundamentals of success really is, which is understanding the marketplace, having the right network that has your best interest to develop, improve, and sustain whatever it is that you're trying to put out there. Because every single day, the market is shifting, just like you have in the stock market. The rates and the pricing or the turn of events of the stock market actually can fluctuate within just seconds. And that's the way you've got to look at it. So now that we're basically operating a global space, you might actually be a creative who's out here in the United States, for example. You might be putting in your very best here in the United States. You might not necessarily be getting much traction out of the United States, but guess what? You might decide to target an international market. With your understanding of that international market, drive your presentation, drive your outreach to that region without you even being physically on ground, but with the understanding through perhaps supportive hands like myself, create that content, deploy it to that region with the right networks already on ground, explore the market, leverage network, and put it out there. Before you know it, you're actually seeing a situation where, and I'll digress saying this. We've seen, it's no longer news that we've seen creatives who actually gets to become readily known and more successful from out there before even being recognized and being successful within their own countries.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So if that's being the case, then it only means that there is a wild range of opportunity for you to actually go, yes, the conventional way, which people would say in your own country, your own local county, your own local state, and then region and all that. But then there is also that other side of it, which is from the new version or the customized ways that other people are exploring now for you to actually be able to attain and achieve the success story. So, but again, that's looking at it from the continent. But let's see when we really concentrate a bit here in the United States. You also now have, by statistic, a growing number of migrants, not just African migrants now, Asian migrants, European migrants. The population by statistics is actually, building in the United States. you're having a significant number, whether it's by the third or the second or the fourth generation now. That critical number is now significant enough that it's actually being seen within the economy of the United States in terms of when we take a look at our annual revenue as a country. It's now being broken down to say, hey, this is actually what this community is contributing to the GDP of the country. So if you actually a smart creator, yes, everyone is aiming to actually have the entire market space, but you can actually start building yourself from just to get a market space that is already building significantly and doing a significant work in this nation, in this country, across the entire country. And that's right now is got to be, that's just my quick, cheat facts for creators who are really struggling and trying to figure out how to navigate this, this space right now. There's still a lot of opportunities out there. You just got to be creative with it, but at the same time, you got to use the information that is out there to leverage. So again, the Diaspora Initiative, there's so much going on the African continent right now. A lot of opportunities. I'm sure we've been hearing a lot of, the year of return, ever since Wakanda, there's a whole lot of attention, but it's one thing for you to hear it. It's another thing for you to also decide you want to go explore it. And you don't need to actually, be on the continent just at the get-go. You could start first by the interaction with migrant African communities here in the United States. So this way you're able to understand the culture. You're able to also leverage those relationships to take a pretty good opportunity of you physically traveling. Again, right now, by the time you're ready to go to Nigeria, you already know you got no problems, Ella, because I got you. In every sense of it, both from the private sector to public sector. Just name it. Just name it. You're secure. It's just a few phone calls, and on your arrival, everything that you need is waiting on you. Because of this relation, because of this leverage. And the same thing that I'm also doing here. I have got friends who are from other, nationalities here in the United States. And I reach out to their community. I'm making friends in their community. So if I have to travel to some part of Europe, or if you got to travel to some part of Asia now, those access are there, and it's going to be a lot easier based off of those networks and relationship. So the Diaspora Initiative for me, yes, is just focused right now on the African continent, because I'm leveraging what I have as my strength and what is my core, but it could be replicated across the entire diaspora space, regardless of, what region of the world is.
Wow. That's deep. So let me listen. No, this is this is food, y'all. Like everything else, you had your appetizer and all that good stuff, and this is the full meal. This is the full meal. This is a key point. I want to go back to, I'm gonna start with the last comment you just made, because this is what's important. Yeah. You said a whole thing. I don't know if you realize this. You said a whole thing. You first have to navigate those relationships, and that's in anything. Before you think you can step into any territory, any domain, you navigate those relationships. That's even here on American soil when you're talking about doing different things, even as artists. If you want to go to a different city or state to do whatever, find out who's there. Like who, it's all about navigating relationships. And we know, for those who don't know, you will find out very quick when you're in these industries, if you don't respect certain relationships before you think that you can take over whatever and do whatever or put your foot in. But more importantly, the trajectory. You can move smoothly, quickly, when you look at those and navigate those relationships of those individuals that are a part of those domains and territories. And I think one of the things that stops us, or don't even have it on individuals' radars to do such things when we're talking about outside, navigating relationships outside of their familiarity, is the narratives. And the narratives that have been created, especially the narrative between Blacks, who are either American or African. It's this, the narrative is this division, right? I know for me, even growing up hearing, okay, nope, because if they're African, they're gonna think they're better than they're better than American. You're not even African to them. And then with Americans, we have this we take on the narratives that are taught to you on TV, what Africa's about. I ain't doing Africa like it's this like it's not developed. It's developed now. So many, just like America, where we have our
Yeah.
up and downs, different
Mhm.
places you go, the
Yeah.
hood, the ghetto, the
Yeah.
high rise. It's no
Yeah.
different. But because of the lack of education and because we have subscribed to certain narratives, there's a division there that I don't think people will even, it's not even on their radar to pay attention to how to navigate that and
Mhm.
to how to support this diaspora. We think about other ethnicities when we're talking about moving up, when we're
Yeah.
talking about, especially being in the entertainment industry, certain
Right.
individuals that are controlled. But we never think about this because of the divide, the division. Is that something did you hear that growing up? I mean, as African, what are some of the things, narratives that we need to dispel and that are literally myths?
Yeah. I mean, so our my migration to the United States was actually in 2006. Okay, and of course, between that time up until now, I mean, I've been doing a lot of back and forth between the continents and here and stuff, and there are a few people that I do respect, and I remember talking to one of them, who by the way is married to an African American, and she lives in Nigeria, and she's at the top top tier level of influencers and also rulers of that country, right? And I remember just talking to him about some of the plans and the intention of having to move down and start building out here and doing things out here. And then his word was, "Oh man, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go deal with all the craziness that's going on in the US, with racism and the mindset of how Africans are seeing the unseriousness of, sometimes the African American community and what to view." And Ella, I'm going to tell you this. If I didn't know myself, if I wasn't comfortable with myself, those values that we talked about earlier, if I had not developed them within myself, and just base my decision on the premise of someone who is already well successful, someone who is married to an African American beautiful woman, living now in Nigeria, I wouldn't be here. Yes, I probably would say I gave up a whole lot to be in this space that I'm in right now, but then I have no regrets at all because it was my decision. And guess what? It is working out for me. So the response is yes, there is that misconception. Just the same way the African American community has got this, misconception about Africans and what to view, the same thing the Africans also does have. But the beauty about it all is that's why you and I are here doing this and still
Absolutely.
pushing on to correct that. I don't care, with due respect to every other person out there, I don't care how long it's going to take. I mean, it takes a little drop to make a pool of water. When the rain starts, it starts with the droplets before it becomes the collective pool that we finally call pool of water, storm, ocean, and that's what it is. So it's always, good when you come across people who also have the same values, who also have the same mission, whether directly or indirectly. I might be the one putting myself at the forefront, but indirectly, you're just paying attention to want to even explore the opportunity for a business transaction of representing some of the talents or creators I'm working with, being a support to advise and take decisions or guide me taking decisions. What is that? That's already the synergy that we're talking about, the opportunity to prove and say that we can work, not necessarily to discredit the fact that you don't have the good, the bad, the ugly.
Right.
It doesn't matter what part of the region or the world you're from. Even here in America, we definitely get to see it. Americans to Americans are still at each other's throat.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So there's certain things we just have to come to accept, that it's part of human life, not necessarily based on culture, region, tribe, language, or gender, but it's actually based on a human character So it's left for individuals to figure out how they're going to navigate. But would you want to be cursed of what media, because what selective individuals whose ulterior motive you never really knew and just came up with a conclusion about a particular region, are you willing to now base your judgment or your decision based off of theirs? You don't know what that process was for them. You don't know what that intention was when they did, what led to that encounter. But again, like I said, not to disclaim that there's still challenging times and challenging people to deal with out there, but I'm also telling you all right now, there are good people, good significant number, by the way, of people out there doing a whole lot. And I mean, I'm just, seizing this opportunity to say to as many out there, to your fans, to those who would actually come to listen and find this, all you need is the right network. And the right networks are not too far away from you. This is one opportunity. Reach out to this platform. Reach out to ELLAkisha. I'm a network. I stand on my words. My words is all I have. I've been through privilege in my life. I've seen what it is to have, what not to have. So I grew up from everything. So that's why when I'm out here, when I see someone on the street who's actually handicapped of being able to survive, I can relate to it. Because in my own little way, I went through it on the continent. And when I see someone who's actually living the luxurious life out here, I'm also able to relate because I equally went through it, even on the continent. And here I am, I'm also beginning to go through the same space of experiencing both sides. There are moments that I've had to deal with not having, and there are moments where I've actually come to deal with, you know what, I have so much I just want to share out. You say, so by the end of the day, the opportunity that lies within the diaspora market, for me, is the new goal for our community. Again, I repeat, Ella, the opportunity that lies in the diaspora community is the new goal for our industry. Not just our community, if we want to be generous, being the good people that we are, the diaspora opportunity is the new gold mine for the industry, and now being selfish is the new gold mine for our community. Don't wait until the next 5-10 years, then you see all the major businesses and brands within our industry in this country dominate the continent. Then you're like, oh, now they're leaving us here and going out there to take advantage. And nah, they ain't taking advantage. They're doing business. Right now, we got Sony Universal on the continent. They're present. I know there was a time Rock Nation tried to establish itself out there and maybe still has its presence, but not as active as I would probably want it to be. And I fault that in not having the right representation. I'm not expecting Jay and the team and the top level executive team or Didi to actually leave the shores of the investment they've created here, but you've got to find the right people. And just the way it took you a couple of years to build out here to attain the success that you are, it's going to take the same or equal amount, but lesser time for a turnaround, but the same effort. And you've got to have folks who really see the vision, no disrespect to the brand, I celebrate you all, not necessarily seeing the success of the brand, but rather seeing the vision and the potential of what the brand presence on the continent can do to complement what it's already doing here. There's a reason why we got CNN Africa, why we got BBC Africa, why we got Al Jazeera Africa. If you check what's going on in CNN Africa now, it's quite different from what CNN is showing here in America. We got to do business, people. And I'm telling you again, the diaspora potential is the new gold mine. The diaspora potential is the new gold mine of the community. So please and please, oh, excuse me, Fluffy, cut it out. You know, the diaspora is the new gold mine of our community. And we've got to tap into it, and the time is now. It's never too late. It's never too early. Let's just get started. I'm already on the part. I'm already on that part, and I cannot do it alone. So I'm just seizing the opportunity. For those who are already on the part, kudos to you. Keep going. Reach out. We just need to build that synergy. No man can do it alone. That's the opportunity that we have right now compared to maybe back then, where everybody's trying to do it in isolation. Now we're beginning to see, you know, there are a few people in the industry right now that I'm celebrating who are beginning to really, you know, give a shout out of the need to, for our community in particular, for us to start bringing our resources and network together. It's not new. This is something that has been done before. We just fell off. We got to just get back on track. And the diaspora migrant community is a part of that movement. It's a part of that solution. It's a part of that economic empowerment. And guess what? I'm going to wrap it up on this note. Even the other race that we say, they need it. It's not a divide. The dollar don't know race. We all spend the same money. But we've got to just be aware. So I'm saying, yeah, we will be aware. We are aware. There's a difference between you not being aware and doing transactions.
Right.
But I'm saying we are aware, so we're going in with awareness, but then also with the strength of the collective. I mean, I can keep going on this particular because this is really the vision for me, Ella.
I know.
We will be successful here in the Americas, and we will be successful on the continent. That's the beauty of our strength as creators. We disrupt, we set trends from the music talent to the fashion artist to the script writing artist, creating dramas, movies, to the poet, even to the creators, because now we're beginning to have entertainment tech creators. Those are still creators, creating solutions for the industry. We have different levels of our creativity. The time is now. We're assessing it. But we've got to bond together more and reach out and share. That's why I love what you're doing right now. This is you sharing. Because that's also part of maybe the disadvantage, the fact that a lot of people are not able to find access. So I'm encouraging people, if you really believe in this and you don't have to give back just until, by the time you have it. There's nothing like you have it. Whatever you have now, that's it. Leverage it to create the next have. Share this. You know, one or two friends, family members who are in the industry, or who are not necessarily creators, but they are executives in the industry. They are managers, they are supervisors, they are ARR in the industry. Share this. Pass this information on. I can always just guarantee you one thing. I'm not one of those who actually go back on his words. Everything that was spoken out here is going to happen. It is already happening, by the way. So it's either you tap in now, or you just be a part of those who would, say down the line, I listened to this and I wish I did then, but it's okay. At that point in time, whatever is available, you join the wagon and we see how far you can go with it. But yeah, the diaspora, that's really a key mission for me right now. It's here within the continent of of Americas, here in the United States, but then it's also with a conscious effort out there on the continent itself. And of course, Nigeria being my country of birth, that's where I'm really starting out doing a lot of this activation. This year, 2022, there's a whole lot of, project ideas and opportunities in the works, which I can't wait, to share with the world. There's just no stopping. We just keep going and building day by day, collectively with everybody winning.
I love it. And this is one of the main reasons why. And for anyone, obviously, I'm going to have a lot of listeners and viewers who don't know me. But I even encourage you to research people. Research me, research me. I do not co sign anyone that I feel will cause any harm, damage, or nothing. But more importantly, I bring forth people that I know is going to elevate our condition. And the selected individuals that I have on this Conversate and Elevate is a reason. And it's powerful. And so this is right here is just one of the conversations we have had and have gotten even deeper. And I love it. And it makes my heart pound. So that's why I said these narratives that are created are tactics for suppression, oppression on so many different levels. And we buy into narratives to the point where not only do we believe them,
right,
but we start to live them.
Yep.
So that's where it gets dangerous. So it's like the chicken before the egg. So when you hear, individuals say, that's not it, and don't say this about me. But when you live in that and you're, putting that forth, was it truth or is it truth now? Even if it was a lie. So be very careful of narratives. One, narratives will have you treating someone else one way or not dealing with them. And narratives will also have you living a way that you're not. So that's one thing we have to dispel this narrative, especially between, Africans, us, and even in any culture, anywhere you come from, there's the outliers. There's things that's going to happen. Like that doesn't define the whole thing. So some may say, I know somebody that was like this. I know an American who was like this. I know an African. Okay, you may did. Then they may have believed the narrative. But the crux of this all is that is not the core of anything. And you're losing. We're losing when we believe it. We're losing. Other people who know, like you just said, are moving. They're not losing. So how many times have things happened and we overlooked it and then it completely took off? We can go from the internet to the computer to this to that. We go on and on and on. And we're always last. Now there's accountability. You are only going to continue to be last if you choose to, because you have all the resources now to figure out what's there. And if you don't know, connect yourself with someone who do know. And I want to say he's absolutely right about making the money, off the soil you're on. I know as a former professional athlete, all of my bread came from traveling internationally. It wasn't running here on American soil. A lot of the meets that I had, a lot of competitions I had on American soil was literally just to tune up stuff. I wasn't getting paid. I wasn't getting paid appearance fees or winnings and things like that. I had to go out. I even had to go, I don't care if it was wherever, to China, to here, to even Canada. It wasn't happening here. So, and that's the respect and the reverence that was given to me. People didn't even know me, but they knew the craft. They knew I was out there and was chosen, and just the respect, the way I was just even treated. So really get out the box and listen to this. Go back and rewind it and rewind it. And when you get to that part, rewind it. And then he's going to leave some information, hopefully how you can possibly contact him. But before we get there, if you were a superhero, I have a question. If you were a major like this superhero, what would be the one thing that you would either change in this world or you would bring forth in this world? What would be that thing?
Well, I mean, right now, for me, to be honest, it would really just be about allowing people to be comfortable with who they are. You understand? There's so much that we have lost or we are losing. And that's where the most recent conversation is centered around technology, where people are saying it's a gift and a curse. But at the end of the day, it's really about you. If I had the superpower, it's really just to make everybody be comfortable in who they are and where they at. You don't have to accept it, but you can be comfortable in it and do the work you need to do to get to the point or to finally showcase and leave. No, you corrected me. You threw me a good word that I've adopted now and tried. and thrive and experience the life that you so envision of yourself. Because each and every one of us is only but just going through a phase of our lives, whatever that is. I mean, we see a lot of our creatives now, those that we have celebrated before, those that we expected a lot from, and those that we never even really expected much from. I tell you, the difference between them is not because one person actually had perhaps more favor than the other. The difference really is just those who stood to believe themselves. Now, whatever that belief was, that's what I cannot tell. Some that belief was positive, some that belief wasn't positive. But then the common factor between them both is the fact that they believed, whether good or bad. And down the line, it manifested itself. And that's really one thing I want to just end and tell everyone. Please believe in yourself. Do not accept where you at if you have a bigger expectation of life, just like I do, and continue to work daily without compromising yourself. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I got my shortfalls, I got my wrongs. I will still be wrong, but guess what? I'm comfortable to accept it. I'm comfortable to deal with it myself and elevate beyond the reality. So please, I give to the world the gift of being yourself and accepting who you are for who you are, while you help others around you, to also be who they are and elevate beyond where they at. So that's my gift to the world. That's my superpower, and you receive it, I hope.
We receive it. And I'm going to pull out one thing you said earlier where you said, please do us a favor, develop your characteristics, develop who you are as a whole. You may be doing
Yes.
us a favor, but I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
it's your mandate.
Yes.
It's our favor, your mandate,
Right.
your duty. So even if you say, I'm doing somebody else a favor, you're hurting yourself because it's your mandate,
Right.
our favor. So make sure you do that and go from, awareness
Yeah.
to action.
Right.
And that's
Absolutely.
what we're going to say. And so what are ways for individuals to contact you, to reach out to you for any services that you have to offer?
Okay, so first off, I would say the easiest way to reach out to me is through this platform, ELLAvation. Okay, because even if I'm going to do business with you, my advisory role is never compromised. I got to keep a check on it first. So she's going to do a job to do a due diligence about it and all. So for sure, the first step is try to reach out, to Ella through a link. I mean, she's definitely going to post it all here. But then I'm also an open book. If you want to reach out to me, I mean, I'm on social media, across all social media platforms. New size as N as in Nancy, U as in umbrella, S as in Sam, I as in India, D as in Delta, E as in Echo, S as in Sam. And of course, Ella will share that as well. You can reach out to me through that. I'm very active on it. I might not respond within 12 hours, but at least every day I try to check in when I can, and I try to reach back to as many as I can. But beyond that, I'm always open, like I said. But let's keep it very focused on the reason for connect. Okay.
Absolutely. Don't just reach out. Know that, because we did mention, don't forget, if you have to rewind, we're very candid. We're very blunt.
Right.
Time is of essence to us. It's of value to us. And like you said, diaspora is the new gold.
Yes.
And our time is definitely gold. So we're going to make sure that if you reach out, that we can help you with whatever. And let me use the words again. Words are very important. We will work with you to move forward in whatever, talents, gifts, whatever you have to bring to the table. It might not just be that. It might be you hear us and you on the business side.
Yes.
And you bring something to the table with that. Like, you know what? I want to make sure I invest in this new gold, right? So that will be huge. So you, like he said, you could reach out to me because it eventually circles back around to me anyway. Reach out to me. You can reach out directly to him. But one thing, don't reach out to anyone unless you're absolutely serious about knowing more and bringing something to this table for you and us to elevate. That's what we're about.
Right.
All right. Any last words?
Hey, a big thank you, Eller, for all that you're doing. As you know, I continue to challenge you to do more, and you keep, bringing it out of the bag. I'm super excited about this, new approach of yours, a new gift that you're sharing with the world. I can only but continue to say thank you for all you're doing for the community. Never stop, never look back, never, question the why. Just keep pushing and know that you always have an open door policy with me. You're not alone, sis. We got you. I got you. And to the world, I just want to say thank you for an opportunity for us to be able to share with you. Let's actually take this beyond just words. Let's actually put action behind it. Reach out. Let's get something going. It might not be for this year, but we can start a conversation now and see where that leads. And of course, don't be selfish about this. Share with someone who needs it or someone that you think might need it, and just let's continue to build this world and take it easy on yourselves. Love to the family. And it is bye for now from Saheed.
Bye for now. Thank you for listening to another segment of Conversate and Elevate. Elevators, we're always going up. And until next time, be blessed.
Be blessed.